Probability. Not nearly as hard as you want it to be. Probability is about the chances of something happening and the outcomes and the possible outcomes. So there are things called experiments that happen. You have outcomes for every experiment. You have the total number of outcomes, which is your sample space, and then you have events that give characteristics of each outcome. Let's see if I can make this make a little bit more sense. Let's talk about tossing a coin. If we tossed a coin, we could get the outcome of a head or a tails. These are both outcomes of an experiment. The experiment was tossing the coin. There are two possible outcomes. If we were to toss two coins, then we could have an outcome of getting a heads the first time or a tails the second time, for the second coin. We could get a heads on the first coin and a heads on the second coin. We could get a tails on the first coin and a tails on the second coin, or we could get a tails on the first coin and a heads on the second coin. There are a possibility of 4 outcomes. Total outcomes those are all the possibilities for tossing 2 coins. However, we don't want to talk about all the outcomes. We only want to talk about one characteristic. Like getting 2 heads. That happens one time. The event of that happening is right there. The event happens once. There are a total number of outcomes, but the event only happens once. The event is the characteristic that we're talking about. A tree diagram is used to see all the possible outcomes. This is an example of what a tree diagram might look like. Usually we use a tree diagram to kind of branch out and show you things. I'm going to draw one down here to let you see what a tree diagram would actually look like, so that you can get an example of what a tree and the branches and the leaves, etc., etc. And then it'll show the separate outcomes for everything. It says down here that a coin is tossed and then one of the numbers, 1, 2, and 3, is chosen from a random box. So we have a couple of things happening. We have a coin being tossed. When the coin is tossed, we have 2 possibilities. You could get heads or you could get tails. 2 things could happen with the coin toss. Then a number is chosen. With the number being chosen, they could pick a 1, a 2, or a 3. Down here, they could also pick a 1, a 2, or a 3. So for this branch up here, you follow the branch all the way out to find out what the outcome is. So the first outcome that I have is a heads 1. Then I have a heads 2. Then I have a heads 3. These are all branches that lead to the leaves, which are our outcomes. Down here I have a tails 1, then a tails 2, then a tails 3. So these are my outcomes. I have a total of 6 possible outcomes. We haven't talked about any of the events. Just 6 possible outcomes. If we wanted to talk about an event, we might talk about what are the events or the number of events that a 3 is chosen. So how many times is a 3 chosen? It was chosen twice out of 6 possible outcomes. That's what an event is. Now they want you to draw a tree diagram where a coin is tossed and then a 6-sided die is rolled. So you have a coin being tossed. That could be heads or tails. And then from there, you could get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Then they want you to list the outcome of the sample space. That's heads 1, heads 2, heads 3, heads 4, heads 5, heads 6, tails 1, tails 2, tails 3, tails 4, tails 5, tails 6. The probability of an event is the number of outcomes in that event, which is what we ask about, over the number of outcomes in the sample space or the total. Basic characteristics of probabilities. Probabilities are in between 0 and 1 inclusive because they are decimals. They are percents changed to decimals. So you're talking about 0% to 100%. 0% means it never happens. 100% means it always happens. 100% changed to a decimal is a 1. That's why it's that way. The sum of the probabilities is the outcome of the sample space is 1. So, 4 marbles are in a box. 1 red, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 purple. 1 ball is chosen. They want us to draw a tree diagram illustrating the possible outcomes and list the outcomes in the sample space. They have 1 red, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 purple. That's it. There's nothing else to say. There are 3 flavors of potato chips to choose from: barbecue, cheddar, original barbecue, and cheddar. 1 flavor is chosen. They're only choosing one thing. That's it. A box contains 5 marbles, 2 red, 1 white, 2 blue. What is the probability of choosing a blue marble from the box? That's 2 blue over 5 total marbles. 2 over 5. A machine contains only 5 gumballs. 3 yellow, 1 white, 1 green. What is the probability of getting a yellow gumball? 3 yellow out of 5 total. 3 out of 5. That's it. Probability isn't difficult, and they don't make it difficult. Make sure you study for the midterm. Okay, bye.